It's almost all new. The first edition had 7 chapters. They were each case studies of child-rearing methods around the world. This edition has 8 chapters. 7 of those are entirely new. The 8th is revised. The new case studies have been solicited by a whole new set of authors in all but one case to really address the challenges of parenting in the 21st century. Well, of course, for me, the most interesting group is the one that I write about because I lived with these folks for quite a long time, the Beng in Côte d'Ivoire. And I'd say the most surprising thing to me is the last time that I was back studying child rearing, I had already written 2 books about the religion of this people. They have their own indigenous religion. And I thought after 2 books about this religion, I knew everything I needed to know about religion. And I was coming back as a new young mother with a lot of thoughts about parenting challenges. I thought I was returning to study a new practice essentially in a secular setting, and I was done with religion. And somehow, as soon as I showed up and told people this time I'm here to study children, I started hearing more about religion. And what did I learn? That in addition to having earth spirits, which I'd written 2 books about, and so I thought that was really the focus of their religion, they have this whole ancestor worship thing going on that nobody ever really told me about. Why hadn't they told me? Because I hadn't asked about children, and I hadn't asked where do children come from, and it turns out children come from the afterlife. So I neglected to ask this one key question. Not having been a mother, I wasn't very interested in children. And not having asked that question meant whole worlds of their religion were invisible to me. For the reader, perhaps one surprising thing they may take away from the chapters, particularly on immigrants, is learning about the ways in which immigrants cope with the challenges around them, which I think are often invisible to local native residents. Also how they can wind up contributing to the local host societies and not just turn out to be a drain on the resources. So there's a lot of confusion in the public mind about issues such as co-sleeping, and we address those issues head on. In the introduction to the book, we quote research by an eminent biological anthropologist, James McKenna, who's studied the physiology of co-sleeping for the past 27 years, I believe. And what his research shows is that co-sleeping becomes a risk for SIDS, or sudden infant death syndrome, under particular circumstances. If the adult, whether it's a parent or anyone else, is intoxicated, under the influence of drugs, and that can be medication or recreational drugs, or anything else that would alter their brain chemistry. It becomes a risk for the child because there's apparently a biological mechanism in the brain that awakens a parent who is about to roll over on a sleeping infant and will force them to roll back. But if they're under the influence of alcohol or medication, that brain function may become suppressed. That child rearing isn't one thing. There's no one right way to raise the world's children. And what follows from that can be a source of comfort, especially to first new parents. Obstetricians, obstetric nurses, pediatricians, pediatric nurses, people involved in the care of pregnant women, laboring women, breastfeeding mothers, and children. It will challenge everything you thought you knew about child rearing.